How's it going, guys? We're going to go ahead and do part 2 of the Object 140 quick guide. This is kind of to help you play this tank a little bit better, maybe some of the other other medium tanks in the game. Now, first we have to know the map. It's important to know all the maps. On this map, we can't really go and shoot across this map that often, so we need to pick the correct side. So, it's really good for medium tanks to go ahead and fight in this forest. But what I normally like to do in the beginning of any match is get into a nice forward location where I'm able to spot and get initial shots off at any tank crossing down a path that players normally take in the beginning of a match, such as these E75s. However, I noticed my hitbox, my arrow indicators showing me that there's a tank right next to me, and this T62A does not allow me to go above and get shots off. It's very important for any tank that you do not trade damage unless you have to. And especially on mediums, you want to preserve your health as much as you can. So I'm going to go ahead and explain these hitboxes right here. Whenever the arrow turns green, it means the tank is spotted. Whenever it turns red, it means that their gun is able to shoot at me with line of sight, meaning that it doesn't mean that they're looking at me, it just means that the level of their gun is able to hit me. So now I see the T62A wants to kind of pull over, but I know that underneath that ridge, he has to come completely over that ridge in order to hit me because I know the tank's gun depression. It's very important to know the characteristics of each tank that you're going to face. Know the weak spots, such as the cupola on the T62A. Now, another good thing about this location is one of the only places that you can shoot across the map on this. You need to learn lanes of fire. Any kind of firing lanes that you're able to shoot across the map, such as right here, I'm able to hit that Death Star. Now, I'm not able to actually go over this hill, but this hill is nice and it's I'm keeping it between me and the rest of the enemy team. Now, I notice my platoon mates pulling back and I have my own teammates behind me. So if anything comes right here, I'm going to have some support. And you see this T62A moves over the hill. I try and get a tracking shot at his rear wheel, but my teammates end up putting a few nice shots into him anyway. I wasn't able to track him. So I noticed the E75s are kind of getting a little bit more aggressive, so I move a little bit further over to this side of the hill. And it's important to know the locations of all your enemy tanks and where they are. And also to know where you need to go, the safest place to fall back to and move. Such as I move back right here. The only problem is, well, Artie, as you're about to find out. Yeah.
We're trying to cover for him.
So, I noticed that the Object 268 fired. I see the gun smoke and I actually heard him fire. I know the direction for which the sound came from due to my headset. So, I need to get out of this location as quickly as I can. So we're going to go ahead. I notice the T-54E1 is backing off, so I'm able to go ahead, get over this ridge, and plant a shot into the E-75. Now I pull back behind the ridge. Now the Object 140's real good turret armor is it lets me to poke ridges like this really, really well. I try and go for an lower glacis shot, but I end up tracking, which works out great because I end up high rolling in the next one. So my indicator arrows is telling me that the Object 268 is moving up on me, so I need to get out of there. My teammates end up taking him out. So the Bulldog is now pushing up the map, and it's pretty much telling me that there's nothing else on the side of the map besides this T-54E1, if not anything else. I also know what's spotted so far on the enemy team due to my mod pack. However, I noticed the Waffentrager E100, so I get down into this low ground. That way they're not able to shoot me. And I only pop up if I'm going to take a shot at something. However, I know this T-54E1 has fired all 4 shells because my platoon mate was spectating the other tank and it was counting. So, I'm able to just stay here and put nice shots into him. However, I am spotted. The Artie can hit me, so I'm going to go ahead and pull back. It's important to know where the enemy tanks are and what they can shoot at. Know where the terrain that you need to get behind and get under to go ahead and evade enemy fire. So now I'm going to go ahead and go around the map because I know that the Waffentrager E100's view range is better than mine, meaning that he will spot me first. So I need to get closer. That way we're both well enough within each other's view range, so if we do spot each other, we're both going to spot each other, not just me get spotted and him stay unspotted. So I'm going to go ahead, move up, use the low ground so he does not have line of sight of me. I'm going to go ahead and get into this bush. So it's important to know the view ranges of all the enemy tanks and where they are and different ways to avoid getting spotted and how to use bush cover. However, unfortunately, I accidentally fire right here because I was tabbing out because something happened. I can't really remember. So I end up getting spotted and the Waffentrager ends up putting a nice big shell right into me. So now, again, I know which way to go. I react instantly and I get into cover. So I see the Waffentrager is no longer looking at me. So I'm able to go ahead, hurry up, put a quick shot into him, and then pull back behind cover. Now I'm going to go ahead and get into the position, a holdback position, which is really nice for tanks that don't have good gun depression. It's when you pull up on the back of a slope and raise your gun. It's really good with this tank because I have really good turret armor. Now in this location, he can barely see the top of my turret, but I'm able to feather the top of his, knowing that he won't be able to shoot me because his gun is a lot further down on his gun shield. So I'm able to pull up right here, but the T-71 ends up getting a nice good shot into me, meaning that I'm still spotted. So I need to get back into low ground, break contact, get into these bushes. I'm going to go ahead and use this ridge that I see on the map border right here, pull up and get behind the bushes. Now I notice the E-75 on my team is coming up to support me, so I'm just going to sit here and wait. Don't be too aggressive. These tanks are not made to take hits. They're made to dish out damage. And basically, your armor is only there for when you need it. Your hit pool is only there for when you absolutely need it. You're not supposed to be taking damage in these tanks, period. It's not like a heavy tank, obviously. So I'm going to go ahead and wait for my E-75 to come up here. My Carnarvon's also moving. So I'm just going to wait for them right here. And be patient. But the 704 pops up. I'm going to go ahead and take a shot at him. It goes high, but I end up getting spotted, so I need to move. As soon as I get the shell out, so I pull back and I start moving. The T-71 obviously can see me, and he's tracking me. So the time that he no longer starts to hit me means that I am no longer spotted. So I'm in this ridgeline, breaking contact. I'm getting behind the bushes in front of me, and I'm putting a second line of bushes from where he is. So I go ahead, I'm unspotted, I'm going to go ahead and get back into these bushes. Artie is still in play, so I can't pick the same location. So I'm just going to go ahead and wait for my E-75 to come up here. Now, after the E-75 comes, I'm able to spot the T-28 prototype. Someone spots him, so I'm going to go ahead and try and feather him over the hill. And just barely put a shot in and end up getting the kill and then blind. The mouse gets spotted now, so I'm going to go ahead and try and do the same thing on him now, but he ends up getting taken out by the rest of my team. So at this point, the game's pretty much won. The Waffentrager has a nice top gun. I'm at 4 kills and 4,500 damage. But I'm doing a mission right now where I have to win and get at least 1 capture point. So I'm going to go ahead and play around in the cap while my team cleans it up and help them if anything gets within my ability. If something gets spotted and I'm able to fire at them. So I'm just going to kind of invade Artie right now. The T-71 comes up and I put a tracking shot into him. Yep, just tracking shot. There's another important thing to have things that help you learn the battle. So we're gonna go ahead and look at the end plate right now. I did a lot of damage. It was only a second class mastery badge, however. But I ended up making a lot of experience and credits. I ended up top damage on my team and top experience. Whereas the Artie, a very good player, ended up top damage on the enemy team. But now we can see why I ended up getting so much credits and experience. It's because I did 2k assistance damage, 2,500 assistance damage from spotting and tracking. Which is really nice, because it's able me to have my team do most of my work for me. However, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next point. This channel needs replays to survive, and we need you to send them in. Otherwise, they'll just become the Cajun Terror channel. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to explain to you how you can go ahead and submit replays to me. Now, when you're submitting a replay, what we're looking for is anything where you may have gotten a mastery badge, where you may have done double or more of the hit points of your tank and the damage. Anything that's exciting, any game that you carried, anything funny, such as when you get rammed, falling off of stuff, ammo racks, anything like that, anything that's exciting and entertaining. Now in the email, you're going to go ahead and put in the subject bar your player name, the tank that you're in, and any defining characteristics of that replay, such as the amount of damage done, if you've gotten a ram kill, if you've gotten a mastery badge, if you've gotten a lot of spotting damage, how many people you carried against, any large amount of damage over a short period of time, or a large amount of damage blocked by armor. However, try and keep it to like one or two of these defining characteristics in the subject bar. In the body, you should go ahead and put maybe what you're thinking during that battle. If you'd like music or commentary placed over the replay, any song suggestions, anything you'd like mentioned in my commentary or in the captions on the video. And also, I really like if you put the patch that the replay was from. Then you can attach only one replay per email. And I also accept links from wattreplays.com. And you're going to go ahead and email that to massdestructionwot@gmail.com. I'm going to go ahead and stick that in the description. Thanks, everyone.